Well, in 1972, there was a very passionate meeting of playwrights, apparently, in Toronto, about whether playwrights should join with ACTRA or go out on their own and form a guild. And Carol Bolt was one of the people passionately in favor of forming an independent organization for playwrights. And the Playwrights Co-op came into existence in 1972, and Tom Hendry of the Silver Tongue managed to get money, startup money from government agencies.
At that point, the only plays I could find in print, Canadian, English speaking, was there were about 7 or 8 that Peter High had by then published Talon books, and nothing else.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nancy Morgan, and I have the privilege of serving as the Executive Director of Playwrights Guild of Canada. On behalf of the Board of Directors and the staff of PGC, I am delighted to welcome everyone who is joining us this evening for the 2022 Tom Hendry Awards. Playwrights Guild of Canada honors and acknowledges the territory upon which our office resides, the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the nations of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Métis and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. We recognize and respect all recorded and unrecorded nations who cared for this land of Takaranto, meaning where the trees meet the water. PGC is grateful for the opportunity to protect and care for the stories of this community, which is home to many Indigenous peoples from across Turtle Island. Tonight is so exciting. The Tom Hendry Awards celebrate new Canadian plays, and Canada is brimming with talented writers for the stage from coast to coast to coast. Tonight's awards recipients will receive financial support for their work and their career, and we look forward to being able to get out to theaters and seeing all of these works in the future. And while we are thinking about the creation of new stories, PGC is also celebrating its 50th anniversary. Throughout the nominee gala and this as well as this evening, you heard and will hear people share the words of other Canadian playwrights from across the decades that inspire them. I invite you to do the same with us throughout the evening here on via PGC social media. It is now my immense pleasure to introduce tonight's host, an immensely talented Canadian performer and writer, Sharon Matthews. Sharon is an award-winning Canadian artist, actress, singer, comedian, writer, and producer. She has worked on stage and screen with artists like John Travolta, Andrea Martin, and Ron Howard, and has toured her award-winning one-woman shows around the world. She can currently be seen on John Ridley's 5 Days at Memorial, streaming on Apple TV+, and on the Family Channel's hit show, Ruby and the Well. And for anyone who hasn't visited her website, sharonmatthews.com, I absolutely invite you to do so and fall happily down into a lovely reading rabbit hole for her blog called How Very Dare She. I absolutely love it. Sharon, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Nancy Morgan, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Tom Hendry Awards, a celebration of Canadian playwriting with Playwrights Guild of Canada. This year, PGC is celebrating its 50th anniversary. 1972 doesn't seem that long ago. This year, we are presenting 10 awards. Tonight, the winners and recipients for all 10 awards will be revealed. The Playwrights Guild Drama Award, the Bras d'Or Award, the Playwrights Guild Comedy Award, the Casa Award, the Theatre for Young Audience Award, the Dan School of Drama and Music Musical Award, the Honorary Member Award, the John Palmer Award, the Arts and Letters Club of Toronto Foundation's Robert Beardsley Award, and the RBC Emerging Playwright Award. Oh my gosh, so many awards. We will see a lot of nominees here with us tonight to chat and share lines from the plays that inspired them. We will also have little surprise videos throughout the night from our presenting partners. PGC has asked theaters from different regions in the country to present some of our awards. Tonight, we will be going into theaters and spaces of ZZ Theatre in Vancouver, British Columbia, the Citadel Theatre in Edmonton, Alberta, the National Arts Centre in Ottawa, Ontario, the Arts and Letters Club of Toronto in Toronto, Ontario, Imago Theatre in Montreal, Quebec, and 2B Theatre in Halifax, Nova Scotia. And this part says Sharon writes something. Sharon wrote something, sort of. I have to say, I am super happy to be here. I am honored to be asked to host this. And I'm always grateful to be asked anywhere that I know we've all been saying this for years, but that I'm literally in a designer top and then tights and camp socks from Roots. And I'm inspired by all the amazing writers, like all the ones we have here tonight, no lie. And now, here's something I always feel very fancy doing, a message from the Minister of Heritage.
Hello, bonjour, quoi? 50 ans pour la Playwrights Guild of Canada, c'est vraiment un anniversaire à célébrer. Et c'est un plaisir d'être avec vous au Tom Hendry Playwriting Awards pour célébrer le talent des dramaturges canadiens qui sont au cœur des théâtres au Canada. Vous racontez nos histoires, vous nous aidez à mieux nous comprendre comme société, vous nous divertissez, vous nous rassemblez. Et c'est important de le souligner, le travail que vous faites se fait souvent dans l'ombre. Pourtant, tout ce qui se passe sur scène part de vous. Playwrights are the driving force behind it all. Nothing happens without you. An American critic, George G. Nathan, once said, "An actor without a playwright is like a hole without a donut." It's true, right? That's why I'm proud that the Government of Canada recently announced more than $400,000 in funding for the Playwrights Guild of Canada through the Canada Performing Arts Workers Resilience Fund. This support will be used for training and mentoring activities for Canadian playwrights. Et je sais à quel point les dernières années ont été difficiles pour tous les professionnels du secteur des arts et de la culture du Canada. L'impact sur votre industrie a été disproportionné durant la pandémie. Les fermetures, les restrictions ont fait mal au secteur des arts de la scène, mais vous n'avez pas lâché, vous vous êtes retroussé les manches, vous avez persévéré, certains se sont même réinventés. We saw your resilience. You are so passionate about what you do that you will stop at nothing to rebuild. The Government of Canada will be with you every step of the way as you continue to navigate throughout the recovery. My heartfelt congratulations to the nominees and winners of the Tom Hendry Awards. Happy Year of the Playwright, and as they say, may the show always go on. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.
He is literally my favorite minister. No lie. Okay. The first award, the Playwrights Guild Comedy Award. This award is given annually for a new comedy by a PGC member, which has not yet had a premiere production. So I would like to welcome the shortlisted playwrights on screen with me. We have Mark Crawford and Rose Napoli. Giovanni C. was unable to join us this evening. Hi, Mark. Hi, Rose. How are you?
Hi. Hi, I'm okay. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm in sequin. This is in the early evening. Okay, so I want to hear about the playwrights that inspired you, or the lines from play that inspire you. Let's start with Mark.
So this is from Canadian classic Jitters by David French. Such a funny play, and a play about a new play hitting the stage. Phil is an actor who can't remember his lines. George is the director who's talking him down off the ledge, and Robert is the playwright. It's the final stage direction that really makes me laugh. George says to Phil, "Phil, you worry too much. You expect to dry, so you drive. Forget about the lines. I don't care if you get it word perfect. Neither does Robert. Isn't that so, Robert?" And the stage direction says, Robert nods, his face in his hands.
Thank you, Mark. That's fantastic.
Thanks.
Okay, and Rose, what about you?
Well, when I was in theater school and all the girls in my theater school class wanted to play Juliet, I wanted to play Mona in Morris Panish's The Ends of the Earth. And so I felt like it made sense to say one of her lines today. Walker is a character that falls asleep on a bus. He falls asleep on the shoulder of Mona. And when he wakes up, she asks his name, and he says, "It's Walker, Henry Walker." And Mona responds, "That's so poetic. Walker, so sad, like someone on a road, just walking. It's not running, but walking. A walker."
Thank you, guys. And Giovanni C. is not able to be here with us tonight, and he sent the following line. "I didn't write those words for praise or fame. I wrote them in order to exist, to heal myself, to make the world reveal itself to me, not to reveal myself to the world." From I Am William by Rebecca Deraspe, translated by Leanna Brody. And now we will hear from Imago Theatre as they announce the winner. Thanks, you guys, so much.
Hi, I'm Krista Jackson, and I am zooming in from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Treaty 1 territory, the original lands and waters of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and also the homeland of the Red River Métis Nations.
And I'm Dan Ray-Vashik.
I'm Lenny Criffy.
And I'm Danielle Lauren. And
we are Imago Theatre.
We're here in Chichage, Montreal, historically known as a gathering place for culture and community for First Nations and Indigenous communities, including but not limited to the Kanien'kehá:ka, the Huron-Wendat, the Abenaki, and Anishinaabe.
Imago Theatre is a professional feminist theatre based in Montreal. We are a catalyst for conversation, an advocate for gender inclusive storytelling, and this season we are celebrating 35 years.
And right now we are on the set of our current production at Montreal Arts Interculturel. The set was designed by Liv Wright and Deanna Uribe.
And we're thrilled to be presenting the Playwrights Guild Comedy Award. The shortlisted plays tonight are
The Gig by Mark Crawford,
Mad Madge by Rose Napoli, and
The Tao of the World by Giovanni C.
And the jury had this to say about each play.
Mad Madge is an engaging period piece grounded with modern text, driven by exciting, fun characters that leave the audience wanting more.
The Gig is a delightful, laugh-out-loud comedy that is an entertaining page-turner.
The Tao of the World is a momentous, imaginative, creative story with lively and hilarious characters and situations.
And the winner is The Tao of the World by Giovanni C.
Yay!
Giovanni was unable to be here with us tonight, and he sent the following message. This play wouldn't exist without the support of Christine Brubaker, Clem Martini, and April Vixco at the University of Calgary. Thanks also to my friends at the Citadel Theatre, Daryl Cloran, Miyako Uchi, Wayne Paquette, Jesse Ardern, Mac Brock, and Aaron Lacra. Thanks to Jenna Rogers and Cody Rolian for their dramaturgical support. Finally, thanks to my agent Colin Rivers at Marquee Literary and my always supportive spouse, Leanna Brody. Congratulations, Giovanni. We're going to move on to the next award, the Robert Beardsley Award. Funded and presented by the Arts and Letters Club of Toronto Foundation, the Robert Beardsley Award for Young Playwrights is granted to a full-time secondary or post-secondary student within the GTA for the creation of a one-act play script. So I'm going to welcome the shortlisted playwrights on the screen with me. We have Soyken Carayol, I want to say that right. Soyken Carayol?
Soykan Carayol.
Thank you. And look at me looking like, yes! And Sydney Page Scott. Ganesh Thava was unable to join us this evening. So, hey, you guys. Okay, Sydney. And so I want you to think about it. What is your, the line or the playwright that inspired you? Let's start with Soykan.
Thank you. I chose Harlem Duet by Janet Sears, and it's Billy's lines, quite a short line, is, yes, you can forget it, can't you? I don't have that luxury. And for me, this line and the scene that includes it calls attention to our biases on what we consider to be normal. It calls out the privileges of those who benefit from hegemonic politics while highlighting the experiences of an oppressed population. As an explicitly political play, Janet Sears' Harlem Duet inspires me. Thank you.
Thanks, Soykan. Beautiful. And Sydney.
So I didn't pick a particular line, but the three playwrights who have really inspired my work and my writing would have to be Jordan Tannehill, Erin Shields, and Donna Michelle St. Bernard. I just wanted to shout them all out. They've been so foundational to me, like being inspired to write, and each of them and like the groups that they represent, and their voices are just so strong. And I just wanted to shout them out.
Well, thank you both. Thank you both. And Ganesh sent us the following line from Yolanda Bonnell's Bug the Girl. All I wanted was to love my baby the way I wasn't. Thank you to all the shortlisted playwrights for joining us on the screen tonight and from afar. And we will now hear from the Arts and Letters Club of Toronto Foundation as they announce the winner. Congratulations.
Good evening. It is a pleasure to take part in the Tom Hendry Awards this year, even as the PGC celebrates its 50th anniversary. I'm John McKellar, and I currently serve as a director on the board of the Arts and Letters Club of Toronto Foundation. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. The Foundation has sponsored the Robert Beardsley Award for Young Playwrights for the past 6 years. Previous winners of the Young Playwrights Award continue to thrive in the Canadian theatre community. Last year's winner, Camille Inson, wrote a play titled Between Space, which was part of the 2020 Brink Festival and shortlisted for the 2021 New Media Prize. Luke Reese, Associate Artistic Director at Soulpepper Theatre, helped establish the Black Shoulders Legacy Award, providing financial support for Black theatre artists developing their craft. And Daniel Carter, who has been Interim Director of Operations and Programming at Buddies and Bad Times Theatre in Toronto since 2020, is completing an executive program with University of Pennsylvania in social innovation design. The plays shortlisted for this year's Robert Beardsley Award for Young Playwrights are Hammer and Chisel by Soykan Carayol, The Titty Play by Sydney Page Scott, and Collie Carey by Ganesh Thava. The jury thought Hammer and Chisel was a piece that experiments with form, inviting the audience into a strange but familiar world. The jury said The Titty Play was a highly theatrical, captivating play with humor and heart. Finally, the jury thought Collie Carey was an emotionally engaging piece with a high level of specificity and a clear arc. And the winner is, drum rolls, Sydney Page Scott for the Titty Play. I look forward to the hearing of the continued success of all the young members of our theatre community, and congratulations to all those winners this evening.
Hi. Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you so much. I truly can't believe this. Thank you so much to the absolutely inspiring artists who made up the jury, for recognizing and uplifting my voice and my piece, The Titty Play. Thank you, of course, to the Playwrights Guild of Canada for creating such incredible opportunities for the young voices in Canadian theatre, and for celebrating them. And thank you to the Arts and Letters Club of Toronto Foundation for sponsoring this award. The Titty Play is so deeply tied to my identity. It showcases the most vulnerable parts of myself, and sharing it has definitely felt very scary at times. But this being said, I could not be more proud of myself for writing it and submitting this play. I've been writing the Titty Play since January. It's the first play I've ever written, and the very first draft emerged from a playwriting course that I took, taught by Honorary Roy, who I know admirably as Miss Roy. I would like to thank you so much, Miss Roy, for supporting my voice and work from the beginning. I also owe so much of my artistic inspiration from my beautiful, amazing, incredible, talented friends who are about to infiltrate this industry and who will inspire you with their art and create the change that needs to happen. Finally, I would of course like to thank my titties, Silly Titty and Composed Titty, for being my muses and for inspiring me to reclaim my voice and my power. Thank you so much, and I hope you all get to read my play soon.
Sydney, so awesome. What a great speech. Okay. Next award, congratulations, Sydney. Next award is the John Palmer Award. An award-winning playwright, theater director, and filmmaker, John Palmer was never afraid to shake things up. As one of the first champions of homegrown Canadian theater, he made a career out of it. As a teacher and a mentor, John was drawn towards young artists who rejected conventional ideas, and he inspired them to make art that agitated the mainstream. He was generous with knowledge sharing, respected alternate perspectives, and was interested in ideas of importance to different groups and generations. Family, friends, and colleagues hope to carry on John Palmer's legacy of using theater as a medium to challenge and change conventional thinking. As a senior and experienced playwright and director in theater, John also nurtured friendships and mentorships with the next generation of theater artists. I would like to welcome the shortlisted playwrights on screen with me. We have Louise Casemore, Santiago Guzman, and Stephen Jackman Torkoff. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hello.
Hey.
Good.
Thank you so much for waiting in that Zoom room. It's very sweet of you.
It's so cozy.
It's cozy, I know. And you don't have to leave your house. Literally my favorite part. Okay. So what is the line from the Canadian play that inspired you as a playwright, or the playwright that inspired you? Let's start with Stephen.
Okay, so I picked a line from Botticelli and the Fire by Jordan Tannehill. I was in this production at Canadian Stage playing Leonardo da Vinci. And at the end of the play, after everything gets a little messed up, everything happens. It's intense and beautiful and sad. But the last line of the play, Da Vinci says, I am not afraid. I have seen the void and I am not afraid. And I just really like that line because I like to not be afraid. I feel like I've seen the void, but I'm terrified. So anyway.
I feel like I'm going to go away having learned a lot of things tonight. I have a lot to think about. I won't be able to sleep. All right, Louise, how about you?
Sure. In attempting to come up with a line or a playwright, I settled on, in the theme of productive provocation, a line from the incredible Carmen Aguirre's Refugee Hotel. So the line I selected is from Christina. She says, "It's true, Fat Jorge. We live in a country of cowards, and until we find our balls, nothing will change. Nothing."
Fantastic. Thank you, Louise. And Santiago.
Yeah, well, for me, I just want to give two shout outs. One to Guillermo Verdecchia. When I read Fronteras Americanas for the first time, and I was in university, and I thought that theater in Canada was not for me, I was like, oh, there is hope. And the second playwright that I want to give a shout out is Megan Greeley because of her, I am a playwright. So I just want to say thank you to both of them and all of the mentors that I've had that have helped me shape my voice as a playwright.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my shortlisted playwrights, for coming out tonight, and congratulations on your nomination. And we will now hear from Franco Boni and Mira and Mark Palmer as they announce the winner.
Thank you.
My name is Franco Boni. I'm living and thriving on the territory of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat confederacies. I'm joined by John Palmer's sister, Myra Palmer, and brother, Mark Palmer. Tonight, we'll be presenting the inaugural John Palmer Award. An award-winning playwright, theater director, and filmmaker, John Palmer was never afraid to shake things up. As a champion of homegrown Canadian theater, he made a career out of it. As a teacher and mentor, John was drawn towards young artists who rejected conventional ideas, and he inspired them to make art that agitated the mainstream. This award is supported by John's family, friends, and colleagues. I met John while I was a young theater student at York University. He was a guest professor teaching playwriting. John used to love telling the story of how we first met. On the first day of class, I declared that no one was interested in writing plays anymore, much less sitting through a 3-act play. I was such a brat. But what I didn't know at the time was that so was John. John and I would remain friends for decades, and I miss him. For me, this award celebrates, and I hope encourages, intergenerational friendships. Over to you, Myra.
Thank you. Thank you, Franco. So I would like to tell you a little bit about my relationship with my brother John. And my friend here will help, will read this that I had created for you people. Thank you.
I remember seeing John as a young boy in front of the Ottawa Theatre, mesmerized by what it represented to the arts. A few years later, our mother, Ethelyn, took him to New York City, where he got to see Ethel Merman in Happy Hunting. That trip changed everything for John. Many scripts, plays, directing and teaching jobs followed, all leading to plays such as The End and A Day at the Beach, which was my favorite play. John became a well-respected playwright, director, and teacher. Throughout John's life, he was much loved and cherished by Myra.
Thank you, Donna.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Great to be with you. I am so pleased to join Myra and Franco to present the John Palmer Award. On the other hand, our brother would have an absolute fit if he knew that this award had been created. And he would tear a strip off of all of us using, shall we say, some very expressive language. At the same time, he would believe strongly in the purpose and be excited about the work of these up-and-coming playwright directors, as we all are here tonight. Thank you, PGC, for hosting this award. Special thanks to Nancy Morgan, Executive Director. Nancy, it has been a real pleasure for the three of us to work with you. The jurors, Franco Boni, Chris Gachelian, and Yvette Nolan, worked hard to ensure the criteria for the award are in alignment with who John was as a person, his values, and contribution to Canadian theatre. A heartfelt thank you to the three of you. On a personal note, Myra and I would like to express our appreciation to Franco, a true friend to John for many years, through to the end of his life. Ladies and gentlemen, this award would not be possible without the generous financial support from family, friends, and colleagues of John. We are deeply grateful to you all.
The nominees are Louise Casemore, nominated by Vern Teason. He writes, "Her work punches you in the gut. Her collegiality and belief in long-term cross-generational work is far too rare in artists of her age. She's committed herself to creating, studying, and advocating for a new kind of theater community, tearing away the decades of baked-in, competitive, racist, misogynist bullshit, and replacing it with a beautiful, risky offer of transformation."
Santiago Guzman, nominated by Pamela Halstead, and she writes, "I was so impressed with Santiago's ability and vision and how he was agitating against the status quo in St. John's. I hired him in 2020 as the Playwright Atlantic Resource Center Artistic Associate with a focus on diversity initiatives. He implemented monthly Let's Talk sessions for Black, Indigenous, people of color artists, created uno a uno, one-on-one, dramaturgical support for marginalized playwrights, and curated most of our professional development opportunities with an emphasis on showcasing and reaching racialized playwrights. It is literally changing the demographic and ecology of the organization, thus changing the work being developed and supported. He is holding organizations and artistic leaders accountable while nurturing collaboration, building bridges, and creating opportunities. It is not an overstatement to say the work Santiago is doing through Todos and the Playwrights Atlantic Resource Center and other professional partnerships is changing the very shape of Atlantic Canadian theater.
Stephen Chokman Torkoff, nominated by Sonny Drake. They write, "In the spirit of this award, I'll talk about Stephen's short work Magic, which they performed in a backyard this week in Stratford underneath a magnificent magnolia. We are both in Stratford for my new comedy, in which Stephen is acting. Stephen invited company members, neighbors, and locals, like the bakery cashier, to gather for a theatrical experience which reminded me why I became a theater artist. With a $0 production budget, Stephen pushed theatrical form, weaving story, poetry, and movement, and themselves, into a hilarious and devastating piece about grief. Growing the flower you want to see and not waiting until it's too late. Looking around the backyard audience, I saw company members from marginalized groups, including Stratford's largest ever collection of trans and non-binary artists, finding nourishment in this space carved out by Stephen. Rapt neighbors absorbing every word, an older straight white woman laughing wildly then sobbing. Indeed, Stephen's work reaches across generations, across class, race, gender, and all the rest. And it is a testament to Stephen's immense storytelling gift that they can take us on this provocative and heartwarming journey without lights or fancy set and props." And the winner of the inaugural 2022 John Palmer Award is Santiago Guzman. Congratulations.
I don't. I'm glad I wrote my speech down. Well, first of all, I would like, not to throw my computer. First of all, I would like to congratulate my fellow nominees who have been recognized for their labor in our industry. Louise and Stephen, way to go, pals. I am honored to have been celebrated alongside you and your work. My work as an artist focuses on building community and holding space for stories that have been historically forgotten. Seeking representation on stage, on screen, backstage, and on set is at the core of what I do. Who would have thought that would be considered disrupting the status quo? However, it is important to understand that the status quo, as it has existed, means that some people are excluded and alienated simply because of who they are, where they come from, what they sound like, what they look like, etc. A status quo that benefits some at the expense of others. That's why I do the work that I do. I moved to Corner Brook, Octagonbrook in Labrador in 2015 to pursue an acting degree. Little did I know that upon graduating, I would have to shift ever so slightly my career in order to survive in the arts. As an immigrant, a person of color, and a queer early and craft artist in a predominantly white, English-speaking, heteronormative, and cis masculine theater community in Newfoundland and Labrador, I quickly accepted that I would struggle to be seen and heard. I decided then to diversify my skills, not only in acting, but also in playwriting, dramaturgy, directing, and producing theater, and extended my efforts to film and television in order to find a path of self-sufficiency in my art practice and successfully continue to work in the industry. As an artist, I aim to put local, underrepresented Atlantic Canadian narratives and characters to the front lines, whilst inviting audiences to appreciate the vibrancy of our provinces from a diverse perspective. In my writing, I often juxtapose my two worlds, Newfoundland and Labrador and Mexico, where I explore themes such as identity, belonging, disconnection and connection, heritage, and legacy. I strive to celebrate, honor, represent, and learn from my own heritage and encourage others to recognize that the makeup of Atlantic Canada is diverse in culture and history. I have stayed in Newfoundland and Labrador because I have seen things shift positively firsthand, slowly, but surely. Rooting a practice of care and kindness, I hold my community accountable to do a better job at creating spaces where people are treated equally and where they can see themselves represented in the work that we create. There's still a long way to go, but I am humbled to be a part of that transformation. I would like to thank my mentors, key people in my life that have shaped my thinking, my leadership, and my advocacy. Pamela Halstead, thank you for nominating me for this award. Your fearlessness and heart inspire my own leadership. Ruth Lawrence, if you had not believed in me in my early career, I would not have stayed in Newfoundland and Labrador, and I would not be the artist that I am today without your mentorship. Carmen Aguirre, perhaps you don't know this, but without your work and critical thinking, I would not be the playwright that I am today. Y Bea Pisano, the fights you fought before my time have shaped the journey I follow. So thank you for your advocacy and support in my career. Thank you to the Playwrights Guild of Canada for your support and for recognizing my work across so-called Canada in our field. Thank you.
Congratulations, Santiago.
Thank you.
And now we move on to the RBC Emerging Playwright Award. The RBC Emerging Playwright Award gives up-and-coming playwrights the opportunity to win a 6-month mentorship with the professional playwright of their choice, as well as a $2,500 cash prize. PGC offers a second place prize of $1,500 and a third place prize of $1,000. Now we're going to welcome the shortlisted playwrights on the screen with me. We have Lily Falk, Ajani Poirier, and Nikki Shafiula. Okay, let's hear your playwrights or your lines, and let's start with Lily.
The playwright I first popped into my mind is Ryan Griffith and his play A Fortune of Wolves. And the line I picked from that is from the very end, and it's, "First time I ever heard wolves howl. It's amazing. They sound like a commitment, all of them together, howling for real. They sounded like how Jane and I felt, how she made me feel. In Montreal. Tremolo. Like there were two notes, call and answer, give and take. How could you ever turn your back on noise like that?"
Thank you so much, Lily. Ajani.
Hi, yeah, I chose a line from Jordan Tannehill's play Concord Floral. The line is spoken by one of the chorus members as the fox, and it is, "Humans feel entitled to everything. They think theirs is the only story, the only romance." This line really inspired me as a young writer because it allowed me to imagine the magic of theater, transporting us to worlds where animals, demons, natural disasters, all kinds of things can be full and complex characters. And I think that is very exciting.
Thank you. And Nikki.
Hi, I didn't pick a line, but I wanted to share that play that I found inspiring and helped inspire my journey with the play that I'm nominated for this evening is also previously mentioned this evening, Harlem Duet by Janet Sears, as a play that really showed how theater can be used to help us time travel. And then I also wanted to cite Donna Michelle St. Bernard's entire project of the 54ology, which is where she's, of course, writing a play for every country in Africa. And I just find that ambition and that commitment to the craft and a journey and to like maintaining a thesis of work across multiple projects, really unique and inspiring. So those are my shout outs.
Well, thank you all the shortlisted playwrights for joining us, and congratulations on your nomination. And now we will hear from the 2B Theater as they announce the winner.
Hello, my name is Jacob Sampson, Associate Artistic Director of 2B Theater Company. 2B Theater acknowledges that we are honored to live, work, and play in Mi'kma'ki, the unceded and unsurrendered territories of the Mi'kmaq people. We pay our respects to elders, past and present. It is our responsibility as treaty people to uphold the fundamental rights of the Mi'kmaq people, as promised in the peace and friendship treaties. Our offices are in Jabuktuk, which means Great Harbor. Good evening, Canadian playwrights and theater lovers everywhere. We are so happy to be joining you for this celebration of great Canadian plays and those who craft them. As a company, 2B creates, produces, presents, and tours original works nationally and internationally. Currently, we have our show Old Stock, a refugee love story by Hannah Moscovich, Ben Kaplan, and Christian Barry, touring to the Persephone Theatre in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. We revel in the process of creation and are fortunate to have worked with incredible playwrights from all over the country. Awards like the RBC Emerging Playwright Award are so important to highlight those playwrights who have dedicated themselves to the craft and are emerging as leading artists today and in the future. The shortlisted plays are Crypthand by Lily Falk, Sinkhole or 6 Ways to Disappear by Johnny Poirier, and A Poem for Rabia by Nikki Shafula. The jury said Crypthand by Lily Falk is well crafted with strong dialogue and engaging characters that hooks the audience through a lot of humor and theater magic. Sinkhole or 6 Ways to Disappear by Johnny Poirier is a theatrically unique piece that centers around community and interesting characters that were engaging. And A Poem for Rabia by Nikki Shafula is eloquent in the unraveling of a story with beautiful language. It is an exciting and ambitious play. And the winner is Crypthand by Lily Falk. Second place is Sinkhole or 6 Ways to Disappear by Johnny Poirier. And third place is A Poem for Rabia by Nikki Shafula. Congratulations to all.
Wow. Thank you so much. It's such a huge honor to be selected for this award and a total surprise. Wow. First, I'd just like to acknowledge that I'm on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq, and I feel very grateful to get to create and produce work here. Crypthand tells the story, or attempts to tell the story and imagine the history of 2 young queer teens living in the early 1800s, inspired by the diaries of Anne Lister. And telling that story here in Mi'kma'ki isn't without the complication of telling this story when the stories and language and history of the Mi'kmaq are obscured. I've been so supportive, and I feel so grateful to everyone who's helped me in this process of writing this play. I really couldn't have done it without the amazing Pamela Halstead and Playwright Atlantic Resource Center, who, along with Santiago Guzman, are the playwriting fairy godmothers of the Maritimes. My collaborator, Franziska Glenn, who read all my drafts and who wrote very encouraging ha-has in the margins. To my amazing dramaturge and cultural consultant, Anita Majumdar, who immediately dropped into this world with me, and we had at least I had an amazing time playing, and I feel so grateful. And to my partner, Stevie, who brought me many snacks and cups of tea and continues to do so. Thank you to playwrights across Canada making distinctly and bravely queer work. It made me feel brave. So thank you.
Congratulations, Lily. And congratulations to all three of these amazing emerging playwrights. And now I get to say fancily a message from Minister Ross of Saskatchewan.
On behalf of Premier Scott Moe and the Government of Saskatchewan, I would like to congratulate the Playwrights Guild of Canada on their 50th anniversary. Thank you for the work you've done over the last half-century to support and enhance the lives of playwrights across our country. As a National Arts Service organization, the Guild has offered numerous programs and services to promote and protect the works of playwrights while providing artists with the resources for growth. And I'd like to commend you on providing opportunities for the public to enjoy the work of these amazing artists. Arts and culture are so important to our quality of life. They tell our stories, preserve our heritage, and enhance our diverse communities. In Saskatchewan, we're extremely fortunate to have a strong arts community. Audiences have experienced incredible, diverse stories from both local and visiting playwrights that have greatly enriched our lives. Thank you again to the Playwrights Guild of Canada for strengthening the arts and culture sector across the country and in allowing our province to participate in tonight's festivities. Congratulations.
Thank you, Minister Ross. I would now like to welcome Marcia Johnson to present the Casa Award, an award led and administered by PGC members Beverly Cooper, Cheryl Fogo, Marcia Johnson, Natalie Meisner, Sally Stubbs, and Colleen Wagner. This award promotes the idea that theater is imperative and a vital voice, advocating for change as it responds to and reflects the world we live in.
Hello, I'm Marcia Johnson, coming to you from Takaranto, the traditional lands of the Mississaugas of the New Credit, the Haudenosaunee, the Huron-Wendat, the Anishinaabe, and many other nations. In 2017, the PGC Women's Caucus, along with the African Women's Playwright Network, launched the Casa Award, a $5,000 cash prize that funds women playwrights in South Africa who lack support and time to write. The award winners also receive mentorship from both an experienced Canadian dramaturge and a South African theatre director, as well as a collection of Canadian plays generously donated by Playwrights Canada Press and Scirocco Drama. Since 2017, we have awarded and supported 7 extraordinary and gifted women: Rahane Abrahams, Jenna Gardini, Tisetso Mashifane Wanoni, Kayla Maswabi, Koleka Patuma, Tamara Schultz, and Piliswi Twinstra. 2022 is going to be our final year for Casa, and we have decided to do things a little differently in honor of that. We are commissioning the extremely talented South African filmmaker Dominique Jossi to produce and direct a short documentary that will explore the inspirations and challenges South African women playwrights face. Through the stories of 4 of our Casa winners, we hope to have the film ready to share in early 2023. Casa simply wouldn't have been possible without the generous support of all our donors. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We also wish to thank our South African team, led by the amazing Amy Jephthah, along with Gerard Bester in Johannesburg and Caroline Calburn of Theatre Arts in Cape Town. Our Canadian committee includes Rebecca Burton, Beverly Cooper, Cheryl Fogo, Beverly Cooper, Natalie Meisner, Sally Stubbs, and Colleen Wagner, along with Beverly Cooper. Casa would also like to welcome new PGC member, Zimbabwean playwright Thembelile Moyo. Casa has been working with Thembi for the past several years to bring her to Canada, along with her 2 daughters. Thembi is currently here on a 1-year visa working at the University of Victoria. She is also working on a new play with ZZ Theatre in partnership with the Arts Club, Puente Theatre, and Electric Company. Casa has been a wonderful ride for us all. I know that I will really miss it. The film will be a legacy of this project. See you at the screening.
Thank you, Marcia. And now we move on to the Theatre for Young Audiences Award. The Theatre for Young Audiences Award is given annually to a member of PGC who has a new or recently premiered Theatre for Young Audiences, TYA, play. So I would like to welcome to the screen the shortlisted playwrights. We have, and tonight for this category, we only have, but she is enough, of course, Julia Lederer for Gather. And so Kathleen McDonnell and Rachel Matumbo could not be with us. But welcome, Julia. You represent everyone. No pressure. No pressure. So what do you have a line? I hope you have a line or a playwright or someone that inspired you or something.
Yeah, I wanted to read a line from Leo by Rosa Laborde. Doesn't really need context. There's so many beautiful parts in this play that I had to email the Playwrights Guild today to ask them which one I sent them. So I'll just read you this one, which I like very much. Yeah, I just remember seeing this play and how beautiful it was and how much it sort of transported me, and I just was really inspired by it. So this is the line. This is the moment in time, before consequences, before guilt, before the spine begins to curve down, shorter inch by inch every day, till death eats the bone. Before the reality of regret, missed opportunities, stifled talent, and squandered love cast every daybreak a different shade of sad. This is youth. Anything is possible. That's it.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Kathleen and Rachel also sent us playwrights that inspired them for the evening. Kathleen. Margaret Hollingsworth is a Canadian playwright whose work showed me the deeper possibilities of theater when I started writing plays. And she wrote the play War Babies. And Rachel said Janet Sears, Lisa Codrington, Donna Michelle St. Bernard, Andrea Scott, Trey Anthony, and so much more. It's not one play or one line that inspired me to write. It's all the plays and all the work that other Black women in Canadian theater have done to create the space for me. Thank you, Kathleen and Rachel. Okay, and thank you to all the shortlisted playwrights for joining us tonight, Julia here and the ladies from afar. So now we're going to go to ZZ Theatre as they announce the winner. Thanks, Julia. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dave DeVoe. I'm the Associate Artistic Director of ZZ Theatre, and I am coming to you from the unceded, ancestral, and stolen territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations, colonially known as Vancouver, BC. I'm right here in the costume shop at Carousel Theatre for Young People, where I also serve as co-artistic and managing director. And it's right here that very shortly, in just a couple days actually, the costume build will begin for ZZ's production of In My Day by Rick Waynes, which opens in December. ZZ Theatre believes in individual stories that provoke and inspire us and that foster common understanding and empathy across our diverse human experience. We're devoted to telling diverse stories and amplifying the voices of those on the margins with a focus on 2S LGBTQI+ communities. ZZ explores intimate moments through which the infinite complexity of human character can be revealed. And we're immensely proud of the work we do. This is our 15th season. We've just launched a national queer and trans playwriting unit with 9 other consortium companies, a first of its kind in this country. So we're really playwright forward. Now, to the awards. It is my utmost privilege to be presenting the Theatre for Young Audiences Award, something very dear to me as a primarily TYA playwright myself. Okay, so here's what the jury had to say. The shortlisted plays are Gather by Julia Lederer and Julie Ritchie, Swan Girl by Kathleen McDonald, and Homeroom by Rachel Mutombo. Gather by Julia Lederer and Julie Ritchie is an imaginative, fun, participatory piece full of wonder, honesty, and magic, the jury's words. Swan Girl by Kathleen McDonald is a visually wondrous story full of heart. The writer has created a beautiful way to spark conversation about disability and a desire for equality in education. Homeroom by Rachel Mutombo is an urgent, vital piece that showcases touchingly authentic dialogue among its high school-aged characters. So, I guess it's that time. Here's the envelope. The winner of this year's Theatre for Young Audience Award is Homeroom by Rachel Mutombo. Congratulations.
Rachel was unable to be with us this evening, and she sent along the following message. To the amazing staff at PGC, the jury, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you so, so much. This means the absolute world to me. Moments like this really make up for the sleepless nights I second-guessed choosing theater school over law school. The pandemic stole so much from so many of us as humans, as artists, as lovers of theater, and so I hesitate to celebrate it. But I have to acknowledge the massive shift in my career trajectory that was afforded to me by all the free time I suddenly had when all my acting contracts were canceled. Because if the world hadn't stopped the way it did, I don't know if I'd had written this play or any of the other plays I wrote in the last 2 years, but especially this one. Because I hope that in the last 2 years, we have all recognized how challenging conversations about privilege and racism and police brutality can be. And the fact that it's hard and uncomfortable is exactly why we have to keep having them. These are not pretty things to talk about, much less in a show for young audiences. So the fact that this play was recognized tonight means everything to me. In January 2020, I was really just an actor with a few dreams to write some plays, and now I'm here. I'm so grateful for every person who has read or heard my work and believed in me, especially when I didn't believe in myself. I'm so grateful for the Young People's Theatre and especially Stephen Colella for taking a chance on me and taking a chance on this play and this story. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Rachel. Now, I'm not slurring because I've been drinking. I'm just drinking water. It is the whole, it's all of the weight of getting all these beautiful speeches right. Okay. Somewhere, Players Guild's like, Okay. The Bras d'Or Award. Presented by PGC's Women's Caucus, the Bras d'Or Award recognizes an individual or individuals for his, her, or their efforts in supporting and promoting the work of Canadian women's playwrights. We will now hear from Women's Caucus members Kelly Jo Burke and Sally Stubbs to present this award.
Hello, my name is Kelly Jo Burke, and I'm the chair of the Women's Caucus of the Playwrights Guild of Canada. I'm coming to you as a settler on Treaty 4 territory, the home of the Nehewak, the Anishinaabe, Dakota, Lakota, and Nakota, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. It's my pleasure to be virtually with you to remind you of the nominees for the Bras d'Or and tell you a little bit about the award. It's our oldest award, PGC's oldest award, established in 2006 to recognize a theater professional or team that supports women playwrights. The reason we need this is because although women comprise the majority of PGC's membership and have for a very long time, less than 35% of the plays produced on our nation's stages are written by women. And for Indigenous women, women of color, trans creators, the numbers are significantly lower. So every year we celebrate a person or group of folks who are trying to do something about that, offer a golden arm of support. Nominations are made by the members of the Women's Caucus, but the entirety of PGC's membership is invited to vote for the winner. I'd like to offer the caucus's love and gratitude to all these nominees and thank our sponsors, Playwrights Canada Press and Shiroko Drama, for their support of the award. Again, this year's exceptional nominees are Tracy Carroll, co-artistic director of Concrete Theatre, Edmonton; Beverly Cooper, playwright, dramaturge, director, and actor, Toronto; Heidi Taylor, artistic and executive director of Playwrights Theatre Centre, Vancouver; and the mother-daughter team of Christy McCrae-Ziss and Hannah Ziss, co-artistic directors of Theatre Baddock, Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. Thanks to every one of them and their nominators.
Hi, my name's Sally Stubbs. I am here on the beautiful Pacific West Coast and the unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. Forgive me if I'm a little slow. I'm having a bit of difficulty. But I am thrilled to be here to introduce the recipient of the 2022 Bras d'Or Award. We first met in 2009. It was clear to me even then that my new colleague and friend was a leader in the making, inclusive, generous, determined to make a difference, and yet self-effacing. A couple of days later, I learned she had been nominated for the Governor General Stramo Award for a script that clearly spoke to the writer, the person, the human being. Since that time, we and other Canadian playwrights and associates have collaborated on a number of projects for or evolving out of our experiences with the International Women Playwrights Conferences. Our Bras d'Or Award winner has been both a conference planning force and a social convener. She's good at both. She's also the driving force behind the Casa project, which has provided funds, time, and a place to write to Casa Award recipients, and a mentorship program which pairs established Canadian and South African female / non-binary mentors, playwrights and director producers with award recipients, mid-career South African female / non-binary playwrights. For 5 years, she has been our Casa leader, establishing partnerships with South African colleagues, organizations and individuals, and bringing practical assistance to our South African colleagues. Single-handedly, she also secured a private donor to support Casa Award recipients. Playwrights have grown, they have achieved successes, strong relationships have been built, and hearts have opened. She also works as a dramaturg and juror for Ergo Pink Fest, which supports and develops the works of women and playwrights of marginalized gender identities and helps them to move forward. As well, she served as a key member of PG's Women's Caucus Committee for 5 years and tirelessly worked throughout the pandemic to help get one of our Zimbabwean playwriting sisters safely to Canada. She cares, she acts, we benefit. And from my partner in nomination, Marcia Johnson, she threw herself into every project that we worked on. She is queen of the details. I will miss working with her, but look forward to seeing the plays that she'll write now that she has reclaimed her time. Well said, Marcia. And huge congratulations, Beverly Cooper, recipient of the 2022 Bras d'Or Award. Yay!
Hello, I am coming to you from Toronto, the traditional lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and Wendat peoples, the original storytellers. I am thrilled to be the recipient of this year's Bras d'Or Award. It means so much to me to receive the acknowledgement from my PGC peers, especially for this particular award that celebrates those who support and promote women playwrights in Canada. A million thank yous to Sally Stubbs and Marcia Johnson for nominating me, and to the amazing organization that is PGC, always looking for new avenues to champion playwrights. Historically, women playwrights have been underrepresented in our theaters. Indigenous playwrights, women of color, and other marginalized genders even more so. Yet their stories, as well as the stories of our male counterparts, have equal value. It is not an either-or situation, it is an inclusion situation. I don't think it's an accident that this year all the nominees for the Bras d'Or are women. My fellow sister nominees, Tracy Carroll, Heidi Taylor, Christy McRae-Ziss, and Hannah Ziss, have extensive experience supporting women playwrights through dramaturgy, mentorship, volunteer positions, and theater making. All are dedicated to getting women's stories out into the world. Exciting and vital work. I have had the great privilege of attending 4 Women Playwrights International conferences where I have connected with hundreds of women playwrights from all over the world. Their diverse stories, the variety of theatrical voices, the various political viewpoints, I have learned so much from them all, lessons that I've applied to my life, my politics, and my writing. The collective energy coming from those artistic and personal connections is truly remarkable. The Casa Award is a direct result of some of those relationships, and the work I've done with Casa, making connections between members of the PGC Women's Caucus and our South African women playwriting sisters, has been extremely fulfilling. We gain so much when we support each other. To quote the great playwright Paula Vogel, theater is perhaps one of the few places left where we are in dialogue with now. Everything has become so partisan and the rhetoric so heated that conversation is almost impossible. I think we need all of our voices to be part of that theatrical conversation. Thank you.
Thanks, Beverly. And now a message from Minister Higgs of New Brunswick.
Hello, everyone. Bonjour. The arts play an important role in shaping the hearts and minds of Canadians, and playwrights are an essential part of that. Les arts jouent un rôle important pour façonner le corps et l'esprit des Canadiens, et les auteurs dramatiques en sont un élément essentiel. I've seen the benefits firsthand, as not only is my family involved in performing arts, but I've had the opportunity to make a cameo appearance on stage a time or two alongside my daughters. As we celebrate the Year of the Playwright, I join all New Brunswickers in congratulating the Playwrights Guild of Canada on reaching 50 years of dedicated service. Thank you for all you do to champion playwrights so they can continue to tell our stories. Merci pour tout ce que vous faites pour soutenir les auteurs dramatiques, afin qu'ils puissent continuer à raconter nos histoires.
Thank you, Minister. Okay, onward. The Dan School of Drama and Music Musical Award. It's a mouthful. This award is given annually for a new musical work by a PGC member which has not yet had a premiere production. I am so happy to welcome the shortlisted playwrights on screen with me, and there is a whack of them. We have Jamie Bradley and Scott Owen for Parlor Tricks.
Hey, Sharon.
Hey, guys.
Hey, self-interpreter.
Hey, we have Jesse Levercom and Adrian Shepard-Gowinski for Geneviève. I hope I said that correctly, gentle people.
Why not?
And Corey Payette or Star Walker, a new musical. Welcome to everybody. Hello, I'm going to have to pull up my screen so I can see you. Okay, let us start with Jamie and Scott. You can tell us your line or your playwright or the inspiration.
Well, Scott and I, a couple of years ago, saw Old Stock, a refugee love story about the Jewish diaspora. And it affected both of us deeply. It's by Hannah Moscovich with Ben Kaplan and Christian Berry. And Scott has a line of lyric.
Yeah, the lyric is from one of the song, "The Truth Doesn't Live in a Book." And the lyric is, you have to live in the world to get the truth. For me, the magic of that show was enriched hugely by the fact that all the paradigms and all the elements were truthful. And that it doesn't matter how wonderful and crazy your world is, you got to find that truth that lives in the real world and bring it to the magic of the stage. So it was an astounding show.
Oh, thank you, Jamie and Scott. Okay, Jesse and Adrian.
Hi. Yeah, my favorite line from a Canadian show is from Hannah Moskovich's Bunny, and it's just very simple. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah, thanks. That's really beautiful. I coincidentally also have chosen a play from a Hannah Moskovich play. It's called Bunny, and the line is, I think about it all the time. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with you.
All right.
I find that really powerful.
All right. I love the piano behind you, by the way. I enjoy it. Okay. All right. Corey, what about you?
Well, I think that I sort of internalized this question as being what was the lyric or line that inspired me to write musicals, and that is the line order, design, tension, balance, harmony. And that's by the late, great Stephen Sondheim. I saw that and it made me dream a bigger dream. And then, of course, in terms of Canadians, the work of Marie Clemence and the great Margot Kane out here on the West Coast. So those are my inspirations.
Well, thank you so much, Playwrights, and congratulations on your nominations. Okay, we will now hear from the Citadel Theatre as they announce the winner. Congratulations.
Hi, everybody. My name is Daryl Cloran. I'm the artistic director of the Citadel Theatre here in Edmonton, Alberta. We're standing in our McLab Theatre right now, which is our beautiful sort of 700-seat thrust theatre, waiting for audiences to come back. We just started our season, and things are going very well so far. It's so great to have audiences back in the building. We are here on Treaty Number 6 territory, which is the traditional meeting ground and home of the First Nations, including both the treaty signatories, Cree, Saulteaux, Nakota Sioux, Stoney, and Cree Iroquois, as well as other Indigenous peoples such as the Blackfoot and Métis who occupy this land. We at the Citadel express our appreciation for the opportunity to live, create, and gather here on this territory. I have been asked to present the Dan School of Drama and Music Musical Award. So here we go. So the shortlisted plays are Parlor Tricks by Jamie Bradley and Scott Owen, Genevieve by Jesse Lavercombe and Adrian Shepard-Gowinski, and Starwalker, a new musical by Corey Payette. Here's what the jury said. Parlor Tricks is a hilarious, off-the-cuff musical with a strong book and fun songs. Genevieve is an engaging, beautifully structured piece with innovative music and characters with heart. And Starwalker is a brilliant and unique piece that expertly and unexpectedly blends musical styles to tell moving stories in innovative ways. Okay, and I was sent this envelope with the winner. So are we ready? Okay, here we go. And the winner is... Starwalker by Corey Payette. Congratulations, Corey. Congratulations to all the nominees. Thanks so much for making us a part of this, and all the best from here in Edmonton.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm blown away, and thanks, Daryl, for that great announcement. I just want to acknowledge that I'm coming to you from the unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. I just want to say how grateful I am to live on these beautiful lands that they've been stewards of since time immemorial. To the elders past and future, Miigwech, thank you so much for all that you have done and will continue to do. I want to thank the Musical Stage Company, Mitchell Marcus, Ray Hogg, and Aaron Willis for commissioning this piece and believing in me as a musical creator. They basically said, what do you want to write about and how can we support you? And then they just let me get to it and helped me and supported me all along the way. My producing team here in Vancouver, Melissa Sang, Camila Sediego, Fabienne Aspel Morales, and at Urban Inc., and then also Ashley Noyes at Raven Theatre. Artists who have supported me in the development, musical directors, David Theriot, who worked with me from the beginning, and also Sean Bainton, who has brought so much beauty and life to the score today. All the actors who have been a part of the workshop since 2019, all across the country, to my beautiful Indigenous community here in Vancouver who are cheering me on, to my friends and family, to the love of my life, my husband, Marshall, who is in a part of everything that I write, and all the joy that you find in my songs and in my lyrics. Thank you for being such a cheerleader. And thanks to the Playwrights Guild of Canada, I'm so honored, and miigwech.
Congratulations, Corey. And to all the playwrights. Now, this is the Honorary Member Award. The honorary membership is awarded to an individual or organization for their contribution to the Canadian playwright community. We will now hear from PGC member Mark Crawford to announce the recipient. Mark.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mark Crawford, and I was delighted to be asked to announce the winner of the Honorary Membership Award at the 2022 Tom Hendry Awards. The Playwrights Guild of Canada Honorary Membership is awarded to an individual or organization for their contribution to the Canadian playwright community. It is nominated and voted by PGC members. The recipient receives a membership to PGC for the rest of their life, and if I'm feeling really generous, I might even buy this person lunch. The recipient this year is not a playwright, but it's someone who works every day and often every night to represent playwrights, to promote our work, to pair playwrights with theaters, with directors, with other collaborators, to track down payments, to balance the books, to explain business jargon in terms that artists can understand, and to encourage and champion Canadian playwrights and plays across this country and around the world. He represents many writers nominated this evening. He is my literary agent, and he is also my friend. I am thrilled to say this year's honorary membership goes to Colin Rivers. We, as playwrights, think a lot about time. How do I tell this story in 90 minutes or in 45 minutes? Or I think every word of this scene is vital, but my dramaturg keeps telling me that this play doesn't need to run 3.5 hours. We can make years go by with one line or a stage direction, or we can spend hours, days, months at our laptops trying to craft one brief moment in time. Colin, in his work as an agent and as a producer, is also a master of timing. He knows when things have to go fast. He just called me recently on a Saturday morning because we had to act quickly and decisively in order to get a play into a theater's next season. It's a great problem to have, but in this case, Colin knew that time was of the essence. But he also knows when things need to move more slowly. A gentle reminder to an artistic director to maybe take another look at that play for 25-26, or his patience with writers as a new draft inevitably takes much longer than they thought it would. Or the way Colin has said to me countless times, no pressure, but whenever you're ready to have that meeting or work on something new or show someone that draft, let me know. In your own time. In your own time. Music to a playwright's ears. Colin, I know that you don't personally long to be in the spotlight, which is one of the reasons you're so good at what you do, but You work very hard and you've built an incredible roster, and through integrity and trust and real business savvy, you've developed strong relationships and pushed the work forward. You deserve to be recognized for that. So, on behalf of your clients, colleagues, and friends across Canada and around the globe, I celebrate your contribution not only to the playwriting community in Canada, but to theatre as a whole. Congratulations, Colin. Lunch is on me.
Hi, Mark. Thank you very much for that introduction, generous introduction, and thank you to everyone at PGC for this recognition. I'm deeply honored. When I was in grade school, along with a couple friends, we proposed our grade 6-year stage a holiday play for the school. The teachers were very receptive and agreed, and then suggested that we write it. It was something that about elves and Christmas almost getting canceled. I can't entirely remember. My strongest memory was not the production itself, but a moment of minor kerfuffle we had a few days before the last rehearsals. The teachers had come back with an edited draft of the script, perhaps for time and likely for good reasons. But all I remember thinking is that you can't just make edits without consulting the playwright. I then had to negotiate a compromise with my grade 6 teacher on a number of key points. It was an awkward moment, but through open and reasonable discussion, everything got sorted out. And in the end, as I remember, the play was a success. I never imagined that my work in the arts would lead me to becoming a literary agent, but perhaps I should have tweaked back to that moment when advocacy for the playwright got me just about as fired up as much as writing the play itself. So thank you for this honor. It means a tremendous amount both to me personally and to have the work of being a literary agent recognized. I feel deeply privileged to be able to do what I do and to hold the trust of so many amazing writers, composers, lyricists, and creators that I work with, most of whom are PGC members. I can't name all of you, but you know who you are, and you and your work are why I awake energized to do what I do every day. I'm grateful to the arts community we work so closely with, led by artistic directors, literary managers, executive directors, producers, stage directors, dramaturgs, music supervisors, and everyone who contributes to making live theater possible, including our audiences. And I would not be able to do what I do without the trust, support, and encouragement of my family, my incredibly patient and loving wife, Miyuki, who has always supported me to have time and space to do what I do while she works as a nurse in one of Toronto's trauma and neuro centers, and my 2 amazing daughters. My parents and siblings who champion the value of culture in my life and our life from a young age, the many theater teachers and mentors I've had over the years, and my team at Marquee Literary and Marquee Entertainment, Geneviève, Kaho, Jenny and Richard, and Rob Richardson, my business partner, my mentor, and close friend. Thank you very much for this honor.
Congratulations, Colin.
Thank you, Sharon.
Now let's take a moment to remember some of the gifted playwrights we lost this past year. Our next award is the Playwrights Guild Drama Award. This is the second year for a new drama award. The award is given for a drama by a PGC member which has not yet had a professional premiere production. Now, that's my favorite part. I'd like to welcome the shortlisted playwrights on screen with me. We have Maggie Fian, Ho Ka Kay, and Mary Beth Badian was unable to join us here tonight. So let's Maggie. Hi, Maggie.
Hello.
All right. Let's start with Maggie. What is your line, your inspiration, your playwright?
I saw this play, Mouthpiece, a couple of years ago at the Belfry Theatre Spark Festival, and I loved it. It's about a woman trying to find her voice, trying to find her power as a woman. And the line I loved is, "No one wants to listen to an angry woman." And I love it because no one does want to listen to an angry woman, but it seems that almost every time we read the news or put on YouTube, we are listening to very angry men.
Indeed. Well said, Maggie. Jeff. Exactly.
So good, Maggie.
Maggie, snaps for Maggie.
Yeah, snaps for Maggie. Thank you. Yeah, I had so many. It was such a tough one. Watched so many of his plays, but the one that really has stayed with me for so much of my writing and art is from Guillermo Verdecchia's Fronteras Americanas. The Border is My Home.
Thank you. All right. Mary Beth sent along the following. From The Hours That Remain by Keith Barker. Daniel, I didn't want to lose you again, so I didn't tell you. I just wanted you to stay. Keith inspires me because his writing reminds me of the power and necessity of tenderness and vulnerability. Thank you so much, Jeff and Maggie and Mary Beth, and congratulations to you. I wish you good luck. And we will now hear from the National Arts Center as they announce the winner.
Greetings from Ottawa. I'm Kevin Loring, Artistic Director of the National Arts Centre's Indigenous Theatre.
Bonjour, I'm Manny Soleiman-Lou, Artistic Director of the French Theatre.
Hello, I'm Nina Liakino, Artistic Director of English Theatre.
The National Arts Centre is located on the unceded, unsurrendered territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe. And all of us here at the National Arts Centre take that relationship very seriously, and we're so honored for their stewardship.
The National Arts Centre is Canada's bilingual, multidisciplinary home for the performing arts. The NAC presents, creates, produces, and co-produces performing arts programming in various streams. The NAC Orchestra, Dance, English Theatre, French Theatre, Indigenous Theatre, and popular music and variety, and nurtures the next generation of audiences and artists from across Canada.
Tenter de raconter notre époque à travers les arts vivants est notre passion. Nous aspirons à raconter des histoires qui inspirent et nous touchent. Nous tentons de mettre en scène une puissante et émouvante pluralité à l'échelle nationale. Et c'est grâce à l'expérience théâtrale que nous souhaitons faire vibrer les spectateurs, entrechoquer des réalités et philosopher notre monde afin de rentrer en dialogue et tenter de mieux comprendre ce qu'est l'identité canadienne, ce qui nous unit et nous divise.
We're so honored to be a presenting partner of the Tom Hendry Awards this year. Thank you to the Playwrights Guild of Canada for making us part of honoring and celebrating the incredible work of Canadian playwrights from across the country in a time where stories and storytelling are needed the most.
We are here to present the winner of the Playwrights Guild Drama Award. The following is the shortlist for the Drama Award, along with some jury statements about each work.
Cockroach, written by Kakeho. A gut-wrenching, layered, and complex piece with laugh-out-loud moments that were theatrically engaging.
Maribeth Badian for Common, a trilogy. A musical piece with its unique structure, from its legato moments that were heartbreaking and tender to the dialogue that felt raw and visceral at the same time.
And Highway by Maggie Fian, intuitive with interesting, compelling characters that had a real tenderness to the script.
And the winner is... You guys ready?
Do it.
All right. Just want to make sure. Okay, here we go.
Common, a trilogy by Maribeth Badian.
Yay!
Yay! Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mary Beth. She was unable to attend this evening as she sent along the following message. This play has been a long-haul labor of love. Thank you to everyone who supported its development. I'm indebted to Andrew Kushner and Project Humanity for igniting this play with their vital programming in youth crisis shelters. Thank you to the Tarragon Playwright Unit, Studio 180, the Banff Playwrights Lab, the Ontario Arts Council, and the Toronto Arts Council. Deepest gratitude to Michael Wilson and Jesmyn Mendoza for being loving non-theater godparents of this piece. Thank you to the Bruntwood Prize, Hannah Jose, and the National Theatre Studio in the UK for taking this play across the finish line. Lastly, this play was inspired by conversations and interactions with young people who generously and anonymously shared their stories at Covenant House in downtown Toronto over a decade ago. Thank you for your trust. I hope that wherever you are now, you are thriving. Well, I would like to welcome the PGC president to the screen, Chris Tolley.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Just in closing, I'd like to very briefly, on behalf of all of the board of directors, congratulate and thank everyone who made tonight such a wonderful celebration of playwrights and playwriting. First and foremost, thank you to you for spending the night with us. It is our members who for 50 years have really made the PGC what it is today. And to all of those who were nominated, thank you so much for writing and for sharing your work with us. To you, Sharon, thank you. Your humor and passion and joy is just infectious. And you made tonight engaging and entertaining every minute of the way. Thank you so much for everything that you did. And a huge thanks to Melinda Doherty Griffiths. She is the one who put tonight together. It's her hard work that can be seen and felt in every presentation and every tribute. Thank you, Mindy, for everything that you did. And Mindy was backed up spectacularly by our fearless leader, Nancy Morgan, and the rest of the staff at the PGC, along with support from Erin Taylor and Monique Renaud. And to our ASL interpreters, thank you. You did a wonderful job. You've really opened up a whole new world to some of our members who wouldn't have access to otherwise, and we're very grateful to you for that. And finally, what is an award ceremony without the actual awards? Our sponsors are what really make a world of difference in the playwrights' lives. So your support of playwriting has continued to allow them to create magical worlds and to share fascinating lives. A huge thank you to the Arts and Letters Club of Toronto, the Dance School for Drama and Music, Queen's University, the RBC Emerging Artists Fund, the Manitoba Association of Playwrights, the Playwrights Atlantic Resource Centre, the Playwrights Canada Press, the Playwrights Workshop Montreal, the Playwrights Theatre Centre, the Saskatchewan Playwriting Centre, and the Playwrights Guild of Canada, and also to Cicero Drama. And finally, to the family and friends and colleagues of John Palmer. Having spent some time at York University while he was there, I can say there are many people who miss him dearly. Thank you to everyone who made tonight a celebration of playwrights and helped us celebrate 50 years of the Playwrights Guild. Congratulations to all those who were nominated, and congratulations to all those who won. Thank you.
Chris, thank you. That was so sweet.
Oh.
Thank you for having me.
It was a wonderful night.
I was so thrilled to be here, and it was so inspiring to hear all your words and all your lines, and thank you so much for having me, Playwrights Guild of Canada, and congratulations to all the nominees and the recipients of the Tom Hendry Awards. And a final thank you to the sponsors and all the artists who joined us on screen tonight, to our amazing ASL interpreters. I hope I went slowly enough. As I said, when I start, I'm like a horse that sees a barn. And to everyone tuning in, the Tom Hendry Awards will be open again for submissions in the spring of 2023. Night, everybody. It's just water, swear to God.